So oftentimes we all tend to say, "Damn, this is the worst year ever." But funny enough, we could actually fact check that. And fact checking it would tell you that 536 AD is the worst year ever. That was a year full of no sun, diseases, famine, generations dying from being overly cold, no crops, nothing. That was the worst year ever recorded to date. And then if we want to get even more so modern, 1968 was the next worst year. That was the year where Malcolm, MLK, Vietnam happened. And now in the modern age, we're dealing with a pandemic or pandemic, whatever you want to call it. And then just there's so much. You're living in 2020 as well, so you know the amount of craziness that we've been living in. It's been a shit show, to say the least. But in these times, there's often about an objective and a subjective goal to reach. And objectively, we've been reaching this society where we want to be open and promoting positivity and mental health. And in these times, I feel bad for the people whom are really dealing down deep in the trenches of sadness and depression, because I know that with this year is an amplifier of sadness, which I'm praying for a lot of us and all of us, honestly, because it's hard. It's really hard. And in these times, we let our feelings or ideas to take over. And the point of this video is to talk exactly about that, intrusive thoughts. Now, I'm no psychiatrist. I'm no person of knowledge, honestly. I'm just talking about things as I see and learn and want to talk about. That's how I want to attack this channel, at least. But I want to talk about intrusive thoughts because a lot of people are down. They're down bad in these times. And I don't mean that in any funny way at all, because it's just we've seen people losing their families. They're either losing it by a virus, families are losing them by cops. In other ways, it's just you're losing your life due to financials. You're losing your mind just in general because you're extremely empathetic and you feel things from what you see in social media and you're overwashed over. And I want to say these things, it could be overbearing. It's a lot. It's a lot to handle. And I find it a lot for myself to handle myself. These intrusive thoughts could play hand in hand with what you see, where it's just you're looking at something happening to somebody else and you're thinking to yourself, it could be me too. And, it's the overall unwanted thoughts that will stick in your mind. And those things are happening to many people. And I gotta say, I'm hoping the best for you. And it's okay. You will miss nothing significant by just being off of social media a day, a week, a month. I mean, unless it was the presidential election and all that stuff. That was pretty big. But other than that, there's nothing massive that's really going on in this world other than COVID. So if you're stay at home doing something, I think it's the best time to take up a craft, to take up a skill and all that stuff. And I mean, obviously a lot of people have been taking advantage of that in these times and creating things out of these hardships. I've been doing the least of it, to be honest. I've learned some things, I've done some things, and I'm trying my hardest and all that, but it's hard. And I think the first thing for myself, at least, is to admit it and to talk about that stuff, because it's just there's this thinking, this belief that it's just as simple as saying it, when there's so much more what would I say, science and math to it. You're doing all these different equations and it doesn't have to involve numbers. It's the way you want to move, the way you want to think, and so on. And don't allow these things to take over. I'm saying this kind of to myself too. This channel is going to be more talking to myself while also talking to people about these things, and hopefully I bring up some different ideas to other people. But don't let these ideas take over, and if they do, let it sit for a while. Breathe, take your time, read, do something you love, something you like, be paying attention to the time and put the time back into something that you want to do or working with it. Like, I would say when I first initially started high school and all that, I was a straight F student, basically. I wasn't out here going with females. I wasn't out here just being a hood rat, stealing from stores and all that stuff. That wasn't me. I just didn't want to do school. And it took me a while to finally like find my stride. And what my stride was with track. And I can't do track anymore because I have health conditions that I'm the lucky one in my family to, take up. It was my prized possession, right? But in my injuries, I've found a deeper love for like streaming and content creation myself. So in taking away from one thing to another, and then, after content creation didn't get the numbers or like the money that I needed to actually do shit. Like I was a 19-year-old dude that didn't know how to drive, didn't have a vehicle, and didn't have a job, and wasn't making any type of money. My parents was just like, yo, get the hell out of the house and start working. I started working. I started loving working. I was working 12-hour shifts. And then I realized, damn, I can't talk to nobody. And I was stressed about the album, listening to sad emo-esque music and letting my mind run with, oh, I'm going to be single forever. I'm going to die alone. I might as well just end myself. And those were the ideas that ran across my head. So I guess I'm going on a bit of a story time. So just stick with me. But I ended up getting another job then and used that job to my advantage of just getting better with talking. And I found this one girl during my duration. Found multiple girls. And it was just, that's like no flex. It's just like me getting better with talking. I started dating around. I didn't really officially date. And I mean, in the sense of going out on dates, meeting family and all that stuff, till I was the age of 19 and 20. So that was mainly attributed to the fact that I was always stressed about, like, oh, if I get in a relationship, I'm going to have a kid. My parents, they had me young. My mom, 16, my dad, 18. That was always a scare for me. I didn't want to have kids young because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I still don't know what the hell I'm doing, and I'm 22. So I used this job to learn how to talk better. I was at electronics at Target, and I was talking a whole bunch with everybody. I learned how to talk, and that helped me get better. And in working there, I found myself better as a person as I keep evolving. And now I'm in a relationship where I've been in a relationship for over a year, and I felt like I broke a curse where it was just like, I can't be in a relationship longer than 3-6 months, I felt like this relationship would die at some point, but it's been totally different. And it's been taking my mind away. I've been shocked. I've been in awe, I would say. So everything changes. I think that's the thing that I want to say. Everything changes, and in time, if you give it time and you try to really work on it, these things changes. It's the little changes. It's making sure you're working on yourself or working in some way. And if you're spending money on things that ain't getting you money and all that, make sure you're upgrading yourself in some way. Are you evolving yourself in terms artistically? Are you learning different styles of doing whatever you're doing? Are you gaining experience? Because if you're just doing something and you're not learning something new about it, or just trying to do something different about it, I just think it's worth the try to teach yourself more. And that's what I'm trying to do myself too. I'm not doing amazing with it, but I'm trying. This is a kind of weird thing, but I guess this is a little story time with it as well. So I'll maybe introduce without story time. Without further ado, I don't really know where else to go with this, because yeah, that was like a real thing. So I appreciate everybody that actually came through and sat through this video and so on. I'll be adding more story times or whatever ideas and so on. I'm gonna go work on some other things. I'll catch you guys around, and I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Peace and blessings to y'all. Have a good one.